the third world without paying anything to get into places.
Sometimes hard to get through a roadblock without.
Yeah, and that puts us at risk of our lives.
So I missed the last thing you said. What was it about the lives?
It puts us at risk of our lives if we can't sometimes pay people off. And I've had ridiculous situations. For example, a woman in Afghanistan whose daughter had been gang raped by a commander, and it was a horrible story. And rarely, this woman, although she was completely illiterate and lived in a remote village, had actually tried to get justice and gone to a judge. And he demanded a bribe from her. She sort of gave everything she had. And then the commander kidnapped her son and got him jailed illegally. She went back to court again to try and get justice, and then he kidnapped her youngest daughter and gang raped her. So it's an awful story. But she lived in a place which was beyond an area controlled by Taliban, and she wanted to tell her story to me so people would know. And I couldn't go through the area because that was too dangerous. She wanted to come to me. So I would give her money, of course, to come for her time and to pay for the transport. But I'm not allowed to do that anymore. Because it's a legal payment. I'm not allowed to pay for anything.
Now, all three. That seems crazy. That seems crazy.
Result.
On that subject, all three of you, are there circumstances in which doing stuff that is illegal, let's say specifically phone hacking, it's the only way that you could get a story that a government minister, that you already knew that a government minister was a serial paedophile, if the only way you could get it was to hack a phone, would that be legitimate?
Yeah, it absolutely would be. So the position is...
It becomes very complicated.
It is very complicated because it's a moral judgment, essentially. And in any moral judgment you can make in your life, there isn't a clear line that you can see. It is a judgment, so it's going to be blurred. In principle, well, first of all, journalists have no special right to break the law. But everybody has some special right to break the law in extremis. So the example I always use is if you're driving a car and the passenger is a woman who is literally giving birth to a child, you're allowed to jump a red light, and no police officer, prosecutor, or reasonable person is going to want to enforce the law against you. So that principle applies to reporters as to others. So the best we can do is to make a judgment in good faith and defend it, and hope to win the argument if somebody comes along and tries to nick us for it.
Well, I think it's fair to say that in the case of the News of the World and now the Mirror Group papers, the great bulk of the phone hacking was done for essentially trivial and very unprecedented.
It's celebrity stories.
There's a difference between the public interest and what interests the public, and again, these are fine lines that we have to draw.